we are live. Alright, so my name is William Birkin. Today we're going to be going over each virus in the Resident Evil games and also Welcome to Umbrella. And we're going to be going over the origins and variants of the T virus. Yes, I know this is the G virus I'm holding in my hand, but screw it. So, ignore that. Okay, so we're going to go to the very beginning, all the way back to 1967. So, what is the virus in the Resident Evil games? Okay, first things first, each virus does something different, but as for what it is, for one, it plays an important role in the Resident Evil games, and the majority of the viruses are created by us, the Umbrella Corporation. When was it exactly created? And by whom? Now, Umbrella Corporation was founded by three people: Oswald E. Spencer, Edward Ashford, and Dr. James Marcus. Now, the purpose of the virus was, during the 20th century, the creators wanted to create a virus as a biological weapon. The purpose was for the host to be infected and follow orders and to become powerful, and thus, the Umbrella Corporation was born. So, onto the Progenerator virus. That was the beginning, and now we're on the Progenerator virus, the very basis of the T virus. So, what is the Progenerator virus exactly? The virus was the basis for the other viruses in the game, such as the T and G and so forth, including the C virus. So, the virus was used for two purposes by the three founders of Umbrella. Ashford wanted to use the virus to help the handicapped due to its regenerative abilities, which this is the Progenerator virus, or which is basically a plant. And Marcus Spencer wanted to use it for bioweapon research. After Ashford's death, after Ashford died, the last two founders began their research on the virus for bioweapons. Let me turn the page. When the two founders were testing the virus, the remaining survivor was Lisa Trevor, which is this thing right here. And side note, facts. The virus produces an uncontrollable mutation, and the host is also it is also rapid. Basically, it spreads fast, like the actual virus we have now. I know it's a shit example, but still. Anyway, it also has less of a structure in the human host, and of course, it will increase in size and aggression in the host. So, basically, it just turns the host into basically a zombie, more or less. On to the next virus, the T virus, my personal favorite. So, I'm getting my papers on, here's the notes. So, the whole point of the T virus for Umbrella is to make BOWs, better known as bioorganic weapons. And this virus is known as the Tyrant Virus. So, we're going to go into when it was created and how the virus works and side effects. So, when it was created around September 1978, Marcus succeeded and created the virus in the Arklay Mountains. How did he do this, you may ask? Simple. Well, it's actually kind of complicated when you get into the Resident Evil lore, but regardless, how he did this, you may ask? He used a Progenerator virus and leech DNA, which is this little guy right here, and that's a zombie, Hunter, Tyrant, and that's basically what it's known for. Okay, so how does the virus work exactly? Okay, so the T virus works like all other viruses in the games. It spreads throughout the human body, and it reanimates when it's infected. And it's called a virus for a reason, but as for its appearance in the host, it makes it look more rotted. Sometimes the host will become more aggressive, sometimes it will show other appearances in different creatures such as spiders and sharks and snakes, sometimes increase in size. Whoops. Okay, so side effects. I forgot to get to that. Side effects include aggression, rage, hunger from the host. On to the next virus, the T Veronica Virus. So, who created the T Veronica Virus exactly? This lady right here, Alexa Ashford. So, by the way, I have 8 pages worth of research on here. So, we're going to be here for quite a while. How it was created, it's just like the T-Virus combined with the Progenitor Virus, and the creature this time wasn't a leech, it was a queen, and that contained an ancient virus. How the virus works exactly, now the T-Virus works the same way as the T and Progenitor Virus spreads to the body and whatnot. But it works a tad bit differently. Basically, in a nutshell, is that the virus can be controlled. Basically, all intelligence in the infection will be retained, right? So, bear with me on this one. How was this achieved exactly? Short version on how Alexa Ashford, she was in cryogenic sleep for 15 years, and the virus merged with her at a cellular level. Thus, she can control zombies or creatures with her mind. It's used now, as you can tell, with the viruses and with this virus, all has to do with controlling creatures with your mind. It's useless as a bioweapon, though, because from what I am about to say will contradict what I said before. It can be used as a bioweapon as long as the host has the virus as in the host when they can be controlled. What Alexia wanted to do is have control over the ants and have with the virus bite everyone on Earth and control them. Simple as that. Basically, world domination, more or less. What have I done? Alright, on to the next virus. So, the NET virus. Alright. What is the NET virus? Basically, it's known as the Tyrant Virus. And who was this exactly created? And what is the Tyrant Virus and the BOWs? So, according to the timeline, Umbrella wanted the BOWs to become stronger to complete missions, like Nemesis. And due to the nature of the T-Virus, all BOWs failed to do so. So this was a divided project, which I'm going to get into. The project was led by the man who created the G-Virus, known as me, William Birkin. It was divided into two teams, the American and the European. The American team would work on the BOW's ability to detect organisms and the strength. Also, the European team would work on increasing the intelligence of the BOWs. The two teams traded theories and experimented on how the virus works. They did this by operating on the brain. And thus, TO2 was created, known as Project Nemesis. This big boy right here. Okay, like I said, we're on like 6 or 7. We have like 6 or 7 pages left, so just bear with me. It's going to be a lot of information to take in. So, the goal of the entire point of the Tyrant Project was to create a bioweapon to destroy anything that is against Umbrella, such as the STARS team. Another breakthrough with the creation of the NET virus, it was led to creation of Mr. X, also known as T-103. This virus affects only the brain, and this was the creation of the European team. Now on to my favorite creation, the G-Virus. So, a little bit about the G-Virus, which is my personal creation. So, origin of the T-Virus. The G-Virus was developed by William Birkin. Me. I don't know why I said my name, but it was developed by me. I developed the freaking G-Virus. It was originally discovered in the body of Lisa Trevor. Turned out the G-Virus had immunity to NEA, parasite, which was also a mutation of the Progenitor Virus. Birkin, I received approval from Umbrella to study the Progenitor Virus, and he completed the work in 1998. Oh, we still got more. Whoopsies. Oh, yes. The disagreements and agreements and disagreements. Boy, Hunk is pretty sure gonna, fire me, or... Actually, you know what? Wesker's more gonna kill me, because whatever. Anyway, so you're probably wondering why I got shot in the first place. Well, I had disagreements with Umbrella and decided to keep the G-Virus for myself. Because it was my research after all. Of course, I sent the military to extract me, and that went well. Spoiler, it went freaking horrible. Umbrella's response was to send special forces to make me take the G-Virus, and of course, I got shot. I injected myself with the virus. This led me turn to a monster. That thing right there. That I'm pointing out with my arrow. So, okay. The mutation of the G virus is very volatile. Basically, it's worse than the T virus, like 100 times worse. And the mutation is much faster as long as the host is still active or alive. The mutation of the host is more rapid if the host is wounded. Say if I got shot again and injected myself with the G virus, I become a monster. Like I said before, the virus is a bit different though when it comes to spreading it rather through contact. It is spread through implantation or ingesting. Say if I were to this thing has the G virus. If I were to stick it in my neck like that, then I become a monster. It can only be anticipated if the host is. It can only be accepted with a suitable genetic makeup. The virus is basically a parasite that had embryos. So basically, more like the alien, the facehugger from Alien, just kind of leaves the egg in your mouth or whatever. You know what I mean? That sounded really disgusting how I just said that, but whatever. Its purpose. So the purpose is useful in human transformation tool, but it's useless as a bioweapon due to the poor communication. Basically, it's hard to control. Put it simply, it is very, very hard to control. All right, so now. This is a lot. Like I said, I have a lot more where that came from. Now we're on the T-Abyss virus. Origins, effects, and purpose. So this virus has a lot to it. Origins. So now the T-Abyss virus was developed by scientists who conducted deep-sea investigation at the I cannot pronounce this, but Chromatic Trench with an unnamed sea vessel Later on, during the fourth expedition, they reached a zone with I cannot pronounce his words. Hadopelagic zone. This led to discovery of the virus with a fish deep parts in the sea. The virus allowed fish to survive great amount of death in the ocean, and of course, they combined it with the Abyss virus and with the T virus once again. So. Alright. Now the purpose. As you can tell, we're going over the variants and the purpose of each virus. And the purpose is basically the same. Bioterrorism. So, I just literally said it out loud. Bioterrorism. And of course it was used by a terrorist group known as Veltro. The effects. Now, the effects are really, really, really aggressive and painful. It has a corrosive nature. Basically, with this virus, you can lose a body part such as arm, fingers, legs, whatever. It's heavy on physical deformity. If affected by a stronger strain of the virus, the host will suffer a horrific mutation to the point where the host will be unrecognizable, and of course, the corrosion will continue even after the host is destroyed. And then after that, after it gets shot, sawed off, whatever, it becomes nothing but a puddle of organisms. Not organisms, puddle of blood. Basically a puddle of mush, more or less. And of course, here's Veltro's logo. Here's the terrorist group known as Veltro, blah, 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 blah. And there's the T-Abyss virus. And like I said, the virus will become... Now, with aquatic organisms, it's an entirely different story. They'll become aggressive and feral, more or less, like this little guy right here, this giant piranha-looking fish. Alright, now, onto the T. Phobos. So, history and development. This is going to be a long one. T. Phobos is another T-virus variant. This virus was developed by Alex Wesker after the death of Oswald E. Spencer, and of course, it was named after the great god of fear, Phobos. During Spencer's last moments, he wanted to become immortal, so he sent Alex Wesker to an island to conduct experiments along with the other test subjects. A few years later, Alex fled the island to do her own projects, and she eventually conducted her own experiments during late 2009 of November. She had the prototype of the virus and decided to finally test it on humans. Now, the mutation only occurs during stress. Like, say, if I were, like, afraid of something and the mutation would just kind of, just kind of, what's the word? It would mutate me if I were under stress. It's a really weird virus when you think about it. Usage. As said before, the TiVo virus reacts with the host before it mutates them. Alex began experimenting on animals such as dogs and bugs. All the virus used basically all of these viruses are used for bioterrorism. Simple as that, really. Means of infection. The virus is a little bit different when it comes to mutating. Rather than contact, it reacts to the host's mind. So if the host is panicking, and it won't cause them any harm. Like if the host is panicking, it only reacts to fear, and that's how you get infected. Oh boy, this is like literally a mouthful. All right, Ouroboros. So origin, history, and origins. So we're talking about the man, the blonde, the myth, the legend, Albert Wesker. Okay, so Wesker, during his early childhood, believed in Oswald E. Spencer's view of the world: only the strong dominate the weak. As Wesker grew, he wanted all inferior humans to be destroyed, such as just regular day-by-day humans. And he wanted the worthy to be left behind. Now, Ouroboros is a virus that was from the Progenitor, and of course, it was engineered by the man, the myth, the legend, Albert Wesker. So this was a two-stage project. So during its initial development, when Umbrella collapsed in 2003, elements of Tricell started emerging on the black market. The black market became interested in the project itself and for its own purposes, right? Stage 2. Over the years, Ouroboros was still researching and modified. By 2008, the virus was more or less finished. Samples were loaded into missiles in final preparation of Umbrella's plan. And what was the plan, you may ask? To infect Earth's atmosphere with the virus and also country and everything on planet Earth, more or less. Oh, God. Already out of breath from explaining all this shit. Effects. So, from what I researched, Ouroboros is very, very deadly with its effects with the host. In its original form, at least. Once it comes into contact with the host cells, it will infect them completely. What will it do, you may ask? It will insert its genes completely into the host's, attempt to merge with the T, or those who have a successful genetic makeup will merge, and with the virus will be infected, and those who fail to merge with the virus will be infected. Basically you have to have this mad, godlike genetic makeup, more or less. So, where was I? Those who are infected, the host will be amplified, the results, and the host, who are infected, will, let's see. Also, it absorbs the body of the host completely. The same thing happens if you, kind of inject it into a dead corpse. It will just become reanimated, Alright, so, super duper human effects. As we like to call them, God powers. So, Ouroboros virus has a successful merge with the host. They will wind up with superhuman abilities. They will maintain their human form without mutating. They will get red eyes, increased strength, increased speed, and durability. And regenerative abilities as well. Wesker, the man, the myth, the legend, again, who got shot by a rocket launcher. Spoiler, by the way, for people who don't play the Resident Evil games, he is the only one that actually successfully merged with the Ouroboros virus. And now, for its purpose, to take over the world. Oh, not take over the world, to infect the entire world. Alright, Las Plagas. the one that everybody knows about, which, boy, there's gonna be a lot on this virus. Oh boy, I'm looking at this right now. It's gonna be a lot to read. So Las Plagas are a unknown human parasite. Now, the parasite is able to survive in any host, from canines to humans. It is unknown how long the Las Plagas has been here on the planet. Now, the Plaga has 4 stages known as A, B, and C. And actually, you know what? Yeah, that's whatever. 3 stages, but still 4. It takes roughly a few days for a hatchling to reach stage A. At stage A, they will have infected the host's nervous system. Now, due to their ability to control humans, they have been engineered into bioweapons, right? So, history. This is gonna be going way back, like to the 18th century. So, the Las Plagas were a focus of worship in Spain in the late 18th century. Around the 19th century, a man named Salazar had led a brutal crusade against its followers. There were, of course, surviving Plagas sealed beneath the caves, and of course, there was a village that separated the trench and the large body of water, and of course, a fortress built above the caves in order to prevent the Las Plagas from escaping. Now, onto the biology. We're almost done. Like I said, the Las Plagas have a mad history. I had to shorten all this to make it actually, make sense. So how did the Plaga work exactly? They work differently than the viruses that we talked about. They were able to alter their host behavior, attaching themselves to the central nervous system, the spine, Between their heart and lungs, when the Las Plagas is maturing over time, it can be very, very painful. It can also cause a lot of painful symptoms. These include coughing up blood, swelling of the blood vessels, and increased mutation, and the eyes and and also hallucinations as well. They are also able to alter the biochemistry at birth. The parasite is able to increase the mutation of the host as well as give them certain abilities during mutation. This would include such as increased physical strength, durability. A classic example would include the Ganados, right? The guys hold on, let me find them. These guys, right? No, wait, that's not a Ganado. Whatever. You know what the Ganados are. You've played Resident Evil 4. I'm sure you have. So if the Ganados get shot in the head, the Plaga will pop out of their neck and use their body as a self-defense mechanism, right? Now, the Las Plagas are social creatures. They are able to communicate via high frequency and sound. How does this exactly work? They have special organs that pick up vibrations and which are used as commands. This system allows dominant Plaga to issue commands while in the Ganado. Alright guys, we're almost done. We're on the last virus of Resident Evil 6, the C virus. You know what, just to double check to see if we're almost done. I'm going to scroll through this. Hold up. I know I'm breaking the fourth one. Yeah, we're done. Almost done. Alright, C virus. About the C virus. Okay, so first of all, the C virus is known as the Chrysalid virus. That's a really weird name when I read it out loud. You are probably wondering what this virus is and what it does. The virus was created with a combination of the G and the Veronica virus. Basically, 2 viruses combined together to create a super virus, more or less. And this virus works differently from the T virus, what this virus allows the infected to maintain their intelligence and enable them to mutate and coordinate attacks and use weapons. Basically, this virus makes a human a smart zombie, more or less. Very smarter. Or smart zombie, more or less, yeah. So, means of infection. So, the means of infection are unknown for the C virus, but there is only one way the virus can infect the human host, and that's direct injection into the bloodstream. When injected to the bloodstream, it takes effect immediately, like with a flick of a switch. Now, the virus can cause massive strength and speed in the host. Now, another way it can affect the humans if it's airborne, and it can mutate the humans into zombies. It does this immediately if the human inhales the virus or a gas. Now you're probably wondering who developed the Super C virus. Simple. If you played Resident Evil 6. Now the mastermind behind the C virus the C virus project was a man named Derek C. Simmons. This man believed in bioweapons as an inevitability in warfare. With the U.S. refusing to continue its own, we're almost done, guys. Its own bioweapons, bioweapons development after 1998 Raccoon City incident. My bad. The family decided to do its own research on their behalf. Now, the C virus was led by Dr. Radaman's son, clone of Ada, more or less, if that's not obvious, because, the A and the D and the A and Radames. Now, even though the project took place in 1999, the C virus project started somewhere between 2001, I'd say 2001, as there were some alterations in the virus. What happened is that there was various other viruses used to make the C virus. Basically, god damn, it's just one giant virus that's spliced together with two other viruses, the T Veronica virus and the T virus. So now we are getting on to, well, I cannot read this. Oh, the use of the C virus. Okay, so over the next several years, randomized creating a number of strains in the virus, including into a specific human mutations. The method creating BOWs was quite different from the umbrella creating the T virus, which was cloning BOWs more or less. Now splicing, and also now the splicing of DNA from from a particular individual into the C virus the C virus has a strand that could duplicate with a massive amounts of resources. Thousands of people were abducted and used as test subjects. And obviously, the use is fucking terrorism in the Resident Evil games. I mean, we gotta have a bad guy somehow, Now, the only treatment is for the only treatment in the game, right? The only treatment for the C virus with antibodies is Wesker's son, Jake Wesker. There you have it. We're almost done. Conclusion. Whew, that was a mouthful. Okay, so I did a lot of research on each virus, mainly the ones in the Resident Evil games and that had impact on the Resident Evil games. This was 3 to 5 days worth of research. And I definitely learned a lot while preparing for this panel, or it was going to be a panel for Otakon, but spoiler alert, Otakon didn't happen due to COVID, so you're a butthole, COVID. Hopefully you learned something about each virus in the Resident Evil games. Like I said before, we are Umbrella, and our corporation is everywhere. With that being said, thank you so much for coming to my panel. And before I end this, panel, I'm going to show you my family that pretty much got picked off. Yeah. There's my family right there. So, with that being said, thank you so much for coming by. I will be checking out the live stream. Not checking out the live stream. I will be, checking what y'all's thoughts are on this and seeing how many views and all this stuff gets. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'm Birkin, and peace out. Take care. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.